Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So it's gonna be a different video, right? I usually don't do this, but honestly, I've never felt like I've wasted so much of my time ever. I usually enjoy games and I enjoy the grind and figuring things out and trying hard, right? If you check my other videos, it's all about how to use SR units and the least amount of, SSRs. And if they are SRs, they're gonna be ones that most people are gonna have access to clear auto hell, auto inferno for like you just go check my videos, right? So I'm a try hard. That's the point. So there's no lack of effort whatsoever. And I played the final beta test. So that means that technically I've been playing this game for almost 2 months, right? And I honestly feel that it's like a tease. It's like, well, you know what? I'm gonna be able to beat this section of the game that is really hard. I'm gonna figure it out, and then I'm gonna be able to get better gear, and then things are gonna get better and easier, and blah blah. And somehow I feel like my account is exactly in the same place. I see this level going up, but shit still feels the same. Now we've talked about the economy, right? Everybody knows that it sucks. That's why I don't have to touch on it. Everybody's talking about it. It absolutely is garbage. But then I realized it was like, so if they fix the whole currency for upgrading modules and also for upgrading, the shells, that should be fine. But then after doing like my 300th run, no joke, on Nico Nana Inferno mode, trying to get just the one Wifang that I'm looking for, I was like, well, what's the point of having also the currency if I don't have the unit and I don't even know how long it's gonna take me to get here? Now, I want to show you my inventory so that you understand, right? So we're going to start with the shells because I feel like that it's actually not as bad as we like. This is not the worst part, right? So I've been looking, like I mentioned, for a Wifang. And in my case, I want a Fury with Kenai and Swift Rate. That's what I'm looking for, right? You see, I don't have it, right? Now, let's just look at Fury with Kenai. That's it. And remember, I've been doing farming, right? Just an Inferno, over 300 plus runs. And if you count Hell mode and all that stuff, right? This is all the Kenais with Furies that I've gotten, right? So, and if you notice, not all of them are 3-3, right? Most of them are 3-2, even though Fury does work with a 2, that's fine. But in reality, you need a 3-3 so that you're not forced to use a 3 matrix piece, which you'll see in a second why that is even worse in a second, right? So we have this. So when you think about your odds, this is where the problems really are within this game. It's like winning the goddamn lottery. Literally. I mean, you have better odds of winning the lottery than getting a module piece that you want or a shell that you want. And I'll show you how, right? And then we're going to put it, I have a fancy thing that I put together so that you guys can see that, right? So if we go to the challenge, you got to think about it this way. On most games, the higher you go on difficulty, right? It is higher to beat it, but the drops are much better. No, 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 no. That's not what happens here. Not whatsoever. Right? On Nightmare mode, Nico Nana, you have 1 in 4 chances of getting what you want. 1 in 4 chances. In Hell mode, you have 1 in 6 chances of getting what you want, right? In Inferno mode, you also have 1 in 6 chances of getting what you want. Now, here's the thing. Everything that you had on Nightmare and Hell mode gets thrown into Inferno. So in reality, it's not 1 in 6 because now you have the shells, right, with the 3 slots and the ones with 2 slots. And you still have everything else, the ones with 1 and 3 matrix, the ones with 2 and 3 matrix, all of that. Now, on top of, now you need 1 out of 6 shells to drop, right? That's the first odd. You also need to make sure that is a 3 slot matrix shell, right? So that is technically 1 out of 2 just on that section. But then when you look at the odds on getting the specific matrix that you're looking at, that you're looking for, right? You have 1 in 6 for each of the first 2 slots, and then 1 in 3 for the third slot, right? Now, if you do the math, because you need a specific pair, it's technically about 1 in 15. That's what you need to get. and then the 1 in 3 still of getting it on the third slot as well, right? But remember, that is all that has to happen with your one specific pet, right? Now, before we do the numbers, we're gonna go and do it all together because we're also gonna look at the modules. And you're like, oh, it doesn't sound so bad. When you do the formula and you put it all together, you'll see that this is absolutely atrocious, like really, really bad. There's so much RNG. And let's not even forget, right, that once you get that pet, then you're gonna upgrade that thing if you have the resources, and then you're gonna gamble your life on the passives, right? Don't forget about that, which is there's three of them, right? But let's go to the actual modules right now. Okay, so go to challenges. I cannot walk and chew gum at the same time. Sorry. And then let's check out terror, right? So we're gonna take it back to hell one, right? You probably should have noticed here that they were like, well, here is the worst because there is the purple as well and here as well. But when you go to Inferno, right? Now it's a 1 in 7 that you get the specific piece of gear that you're looking for, right? There's 2 drops for Rondo, so, but there's still 1 in 7, right? Now there is 4 pieces of gear. So on top of being 1 in 7, it has to be one out of those 4, and it's for all of them. So it's technically 1 in 28. And for those the math gurus and everything, you can go ahead and do your thing. I know I'm out of order, but you probably can follow, right? 1 in 28 is actually the chance of you getting the piece of gear that you're looking for. Now, on top of this is the best part, right? It can be a 3 matrix, right? Type or a 2 matrix type. So that part is also another 1 of 2 for each piece that you're looking for. And then you have the substats, which can be as crappy as 2 substats, 3's, right? 3's decent, and 4 is what we're looking at. So technically, it's 1 in 3 in a way, but it's not really, not quite there, right? Because we also don't even know what the chances of these things dropping. So I cannot even actually say. I'm just telling you out of all the options. So I don't know how the chances are, right? We don't know the rates for this crap whatsoever. What I can tell you though is that for you to get one of these specifically feels almost goddamn impossible, right? So not just to get this Fury Edge, but to get the actual piece that you want, and then don't forget the main stat at the top. Right? So you have for cores, for example, is HP, defense, HP bonus, defense bonus, effect accuracy, effect resistance, right? Attack bonus, attack. We're at 8 already there, right? Crit, crit damage, 10 goddamn options that can drop. So you need one out of those 10. Your head by now is probably spinning, okay? So now what I'm gonna do is I got this fancy thing that I put together, and I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about, right? So this is what we're looking for shells, right? You need specific requirement. You're looking 1 out of 6. It has to have 3 slots. You are looking for the perfect combination, right, of the matrix, so duplicates essentially. And you have 1 in 3 to get the third row of exclusive, right, of the matrix. And then you have a guaranteed 3 points. Once it's the 3, it's guaranteed that it's gonna be 3, so you don't have to worry about 2 matrix ones or 3 matrix ones or 1 matrix ones. They're all gonna be 3, 3, 3, right? But then when you think about the probability, again, is 1 in 6 just to get the right shell. So you have a 16% chance there. Then that is 3 matrix slots. We have no idea what is the drop rate for that, right? Let's say that is about a 10%. So I'm being generous. And that is not the case. Alrighty. And then to have the right main matrix, right? So you want, let's say, again, like me, Fury, Kenai, choose on those 2, it's about 1 in 15. And then the right side, it's another 1 in 3. You have an odd if when you multiply it all together, because again, now you need to hit all these jackpots essentially. It's 1 in 2,700 pieces of shells, 1 in 2,700 shells that you might get the one that you're looking for. The gear, if you thought this is bad, the gear is worse. So you need 1 in 28 to get the right gear piece, right? Because again, you have 7 types and 4 pieces, 28, 1 in 28. So that's a 3.5%. Now you need it to be all of them to be 3 pieces, right? So that's technically 1 in 5, right? Because again, you have the type first, and then you have the piece, and then you also need the matrix. So all 3 combined is 1 in 5, right? Then you have the substats, which would be a perfect in this case. You want 4 substats. That's 1 in 10th. And I'm just throwing out there because I don't know what the actual chances are. But let's say it's 1 in 10 chance, right? For every piece that you get, 1 out of 10 is going to have 4 stats. I'm just putting it that way. And then the right substat. So also remember that there is that chance. So your final odds is 1 in 693,000 before you get that piece that you're looking for. So modules is 257 times worse than shells, right? And shells was already bad when you think about it. So the odds are that you're gonna spend about three. This number is probably a little exaggerated, but it's a lot. Let's just put it that way. It's just a lot, a lot right now, right? So let's say that you have 5,000 stamina. I have 50 potions sitting on that. That's 500 runs, right? For shells, I have an 18% chance that I might get what I want. Not bad. But for gear, within the same 500 runs, I have a 0.14%. Like, do you see the problem right here? Like, that is absolutely insane. I've never seen a game that you can grind as much as you have or probably will in this game, like I have, and feel that is being completely worthless, literally worthless whatsoever. And I usually don't do this, but man, it's proven because everybody still struggle bossing with everything. Again, it's not only if you can upgrade, because I have pieces that I have upgraded, but if you're upgrading the wrong piece, which all of us are probably, then what is the point essentially? So not only did you waste your time, you wasted the currency, right? And now you're just stuck doing whatever it is that you might think that you want to do next. Because even if you beat the content, you're still not gonna get any better odds. They actually get worse. So, um, honestly, it's absolutely insane that this is the state of things because the game has such good potential. I don't really touch PvP honestly because by the time that I'm done with playing everything, I'm just frustrated. I literally PvP I leave it for the last part of the day, and I don't even try. I haven't touched RTA whatsoever in like a week. Because honestly, I don't even want to bother. Let's just put it that way. So I probably have to admit that I'm a little burnt out. I mean, I do try a little like because again, I'm trying to create content. I get it, but man, I've never been so frustrated with a game ever, and it's just a game, and it feels like a job. All right, guys. Well, let me know what your thoughts are, and if you agree or disagree, leave it on the comment down below. How are they gonna solve this? Honestly, at this point, it's a really big question mark because they would have to completely strip down the system and kind of like reimagine it because as it is absolutely garbage. I mean, one quick solution is just take away. It should only be 3 matrix drops. There should be no less than 3 substats on them. Honestly, um, create a fifth dungeon to make the I would say the drops chances, so like there is less stuff in one boss, right? So it increases your odds of getting it. Like just do that, honestly. At least and that would be better. And of course, fix the goddamn economy. And that's about it. All right, guys. So I'm done jabbering. I'll see you all on the next one. Bye-bye.